In 2014, towards the end of my second year of lecturing, a paper was published by Riginos et al. In Ecology that really stood with me throughout my career thus far. And it looked at ants, and it looked at what would happen if Phytolus megacephala, a very, very invasive ant species, invades savanna ecosystems with a bunch of ants that are very much closely associated with whistle-thorn trees. Is it better to meet the opponent with resistance and fight to the death? Or is it better to hide away? Well, today we are going to simulate that in Empires of the Undergrowth. Now, that study looked at the interaction between 4 species of ants and the invading Phytolus megacephala ants. Now, I have changed things around a little bit because the idea is we are going to simulate the findings of that study, not actually the species that were involved there. So, what they looked at is Phytolus megacephala as the invasive species. We are going to be using vigorous fire ants because the Phytolus morrisi in the game are not quite strong/invasive enough for the purposes here. So we're going to take fire ants, the vigorous ones in particular, because once they get rolling, there is no stopping them. And we've put them on impossible. The idea is they are really a force to be reckoned with. We also have 3 species of other ants here. These 2 over here, the black ants and the little black ants, they are going to simulate 2 species of Chromatogaster, some of the cocktail ants as we call them here in South Africa. And they will have their nests spread out across a whole bunch of acacia, or now called Vachellia, Drepanalobium trees. And we'll talk about that in a moment. But these guys, whenever they are met with this invasive species, these Chromatogaster ants storm out of their nests and they attack the invading ants. And that's what these little guys will most likely do. But because they are smaller colonies, we've put them on hard difficulty. So there is no real chance that they are going to beat the impossible fire ants here. And then there is a 4th species. And that 4th species is Tetraponera penzigi, if I remember correctly. And we are going to be simulating them with the exploding ant. Now, instead of swarming out and attacking these invading ants, what they do is they go and hide away. And they hide in their nests. Now, their nests aren't in the ground. Their nests are actually in the swollen bases of the thorn trees' thorns. And they have the little holes in there and the nests in there. And what they do when they are feeling threatened by invasive ants or whatever else threatens them is they retreat into the nest and they block the entrances with their butts. And then they sting any ants coming closer to that entrance. And that's what we're going to do. We can't sting though, but we are going to explode in their faces whenever they come into our nest. Okay, so here we've got it. We've set it up. We're in the savannah or in the grassland area. We have got our simulated Tetraponera penzigi ants. We've got 2 species of Chromatogaster or simulated Chromatogaster ants here, and we've got the invasive species here, the fire ants, supposed to simulating the Phytolus megacephala, the big-headed ants. And we are going to be playing with Conquest because everybody is going to try and take out everybody else. Now, previously I put all the victim species in one group. We are going to actually have them split between 3 groups now. So there is competition between the different ants. That is what they were looking at as well in the paper. The ants will be competing with one another. And usually there is this hierarchy of this ant is better than that ant is better than that ant and outcompetes that ant. And the Tetraponera penzigi ants that we are playing are at the bottom of that hierarchy. They don't attack anyone else because they know they're screwed if they do that. Alright, I think let's see what happens with this. Okay, so the idea is we have got to establish as quickly as possible a little colony that's capable of surviving invasion by the invasive ant species. So let's just dig out some food for ourselves first. Priorities, you know, priorities. And then we'll have a look and see what's happening above ground. Now we are getting our first few workers. They're just collecting over there as well. This is really going to be the place where everything happens, especially this foyer area over here. Now above ground, what we have is we've got a dead centipede over there. I don't really like being in this position, but we are going to be in this position. We have got to the south here, we've got a whole bunch of nice little honeydew. We are going to be collecting that. That's a nice source of food for ourselves. And I think that is most of the food that we potentially can get to. This centipede, I think, is actually... I think this is more for the colony above us. Oh, right, so over here we've got the little black ants. They are going to be a menace, to put it lightly. We've got, over here, we've got the black ants. They most likely are going to die first. And then we've got the invasive fire ants, most likely right over there. Now, starting out, of course, as always, it's a dangerous thing, because we've got things like tiger beetles, which we definitely cannot defeat on our own at the moment. So we're just going to swarm out quickly and very, very rapidly dash towards our source of food, which would be these aphids and the honeydew that they secrete. Now, the ants that we are simulating actually don't live in the ground. They all have their nests up in the acacia trees or in the Vitellia trees. And these guys will be living in the whistle thorns itself. So in the base of the thorns, that's where they will be having their little nests. And they all will feed on the extra floral nectaries that are present on the trees. Extra floral nectaries, meaning it's nectaries that's not part of the flower of the plant. So those nectaries are actually other parts of the plant that the ants can then get sugar from. And that's a great source of food for them. It's predictable. It allows them to always have a quite steady supply of food. We just have to get our little ants back into the colony because I think... No, the tiger beetle is going over there. Okay, that's fine. Let's actually come and collect some caterpillars over here as well. And now we are going to finally start getting some bigger workers. Oh, there is a tiger beetle running around here. As long as it doesn't actually run right next to my nest here, I think my little guys, they may be in danger. No, I think they may be fine. It's unsure. Oh, this tiger beetle got to everyone, unfortunately. Ooh. Oh, I just saw these ants here, the fire ants. They're actually in my nest. Okay. And we don't actually want our ants exploding yet. Yo, okay, that was... Thankfully, we had some exploding workers over here. That could have ended much more poorly. Oh, okay. I think we may need to just get ready because here come the ants again. The impossible fire ants are deciding that we are the ones to destroy. And the problem is now that we don't really have enough food to keep on fighting them. So what we are doing is we're just standing our ground here and hoping that they go away. Because there they go again. Okay, so we have repelled the first invasion. We've blown up a few soldiers. They're probably going to come through again, which really isn't ideal because we haven't got enough food at the moment at all. Why did you have to come for me? Why not go for someone else? Really? You want to come for me again? Okay, fine. Okay, now I've accidentally just blown up everybody. Run for food. And here they come again. I think my colony may actually be doomed. This is not a great start. Okay, let's try that again, shall we? Now, previously I gave all the other ants some special abilities with their workers and stuff like that. I have changed that now. It's just normal black ants, normal little black ants, and normal fire ants, vigorous fire ants. Let's try that again, shall we? Alright, we are back, and we are back in the same position. Yeah, this time we've got some caterpillars there. Some seeds up here. Okay. And a dead scorpion over here. But this time, before heading up to the surface, what we're actually doing is we are just excavating a bit and we're first getting some food from below ground with our stronger workers here. You know what, we're just going to go boom a little bit because that does do quite a bit of damage to them. And we get more food from this bunch of food over here than we lost from the few that we sacrificed, the 2 or 3 that we sacrificed there. So what we have is we immediately have some of the little black ants above here. They're just going crazy. They're collecting the seeds down here. We've got the black ants over here also going crazy, collecting, oh, from the solifuge over there. Okay, and then these guys, the fire ants, you guys are collecting honeydew. Yeah, that sounds about right. Now we also have our big soldiers here, for example, now, and that one's doing exactly what I wanted it to do. It's standing in place and it is increasing the armor of our other ants. And the idea is that that is simulating the Tetraponera ants actually blocking their tunnels and just refusing to budge. That is what we are simulating there. So we've got a better defense underground than we've got above ground, and that's perfect. That is perfect for simulating what the Tetraponera penzigi ants would be doing. Now, I never knew it, or I didn't know it until recently, but every lunchtime on a Thursday, I see Tetraponera ants. There's one spot that I sit for my lunch between lectures, and every time I'm sitting under this tree, and every time I sit under that tree, I have got a little Tetraponera ant walking across my hand, or my leg, or my arm, or somewhere on my body. And I think it is Tetraponera natalensis, which is a species from South Africa here. It almost looks as though these guys are invading. We'll see. Maybe they are coming for the seeds here. No, they were coming for the seeds, okay. Now, I do feel comfortable enough in our defense force here now that we can actually come out and harvest on above ground a bit as well. We've got a whole bunch of individuals. And we've got quite strong ants coming out to partay now. Oh, one colony has already been wiped out. It was the black ants down here. They're already dead. Okay, they were active. They were running around above ground quite a lot. The little black ants, they are also running around above ground, but they haven't been spotted by the fire ants yet. The thing is, we're not very good against the stink ant here. The stink ant must just go so we can actually come and remove some food here. There we go. Okay, everybody come down. Okay, the fire ants. Oh, the fire ants are marching, and they are kind of going for the little black ants, but the little black ants did defend their nest quite nicely, but they're most likely going to counterattack now. Now, our objective is not to wipe out the other colonies. That is not actually what I'm even planning to do remotely, because what are the odds of us beating the impossible fire ants? I mean, not a good chance. So our objective is just to stay alive as long as we possibly can. Because in that study, they found that the species that responded aggressively were wiped out within about half an hour to an hour. They spent a lot of resources, and all their workers went to go fight the invading species, the Phydae megacephala. But some, like the Tetraponera penzigi over here, they survived, and they were able to withstand the invasion up to 30 days later. So 30 days after the initial invasion, they were still around, which is amazing considering that all the other species disappeared from the system. Okay, we really need to upgrade our storage here so we can store more in our little home here. Now, the homes that these ants are staying in, those swollen thorn bases. Oh, 2 enemy queens are dead, so it's just us. It's just us against the fire ants. Okay, so now we've got to retreat, guys. We've got to retreat. We now have to withstand the enemy right over here. This is where we make our stand. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of food, but I think here comes some food. Yeah, and here comes the fire ants as well. So now, we are going to withstand them as best we can. Okay, they're going again. The thing is, now, there is no competition for us. We can now spend quite a lot on a whole bunch of workers, knowing that, all the food that is in our general area will be ours. Unfortunately, there are still some tiger beetles that are being a nuisance. Luckily, we can sort them out. Okay, here come the fire ants. Now, they're starting to come in number now, so the colony has really established quite nicely. Now, what we're going to do is we're just going to occasionally blow up a few of our workers to sacrifice them for the good of the colony, And that usually results in the fire ants kind of thinking twice about invading. I would have hoped to actually have had a bit more food available here, stored away. So what we are going to do is we are going to just fight here. I think we should be fine. Yeah, I think they are kind of retreating again. And we're just going to open up this, and all these little guys can come and fight us where we are as well. And then we're just going to collect the food that is in that chamber. But look at this. Look at this stream of level 2 and 3 fire ants. You see, we don't stand a chance here. If we wanted to go and fight them, we would stand no chance. No chance whatsoever. Okay, and this is kind of what I wanted. Kind of. There we go. Everybody dead. And now, my main little worker guys can just come and clear this out. Look at that swarm of fire ants. Eventually, if there were no replenishing food, they would actually run out of food altogether. But unfortunately, they will always find some food, so there's no chance of us just, like we did in the actual exploding ant mission, there's no chance for us to just kind of wait it all out until they exhaust themselves and then attack them. They will be replenishing their numbers, but we can withstand this, and that is brilliant. There's a mantis causing some chaos here for the fire ants. Now you may be asking yourselves, so what, Will? So what if Phydae megacephala invades and results in the disappearance of a bunch of ants? Why does that matter? Well, the thing is that the whistlethorn trees, the Acacia drepanalobium, is an incredibly important species, or is quite common in some soil types. And if they were to disappear, there aren't any other trees that can kind of take over there. And if you have a bunch of ants on trees, well, they are very good at keeping elephants away. So in areas where there are none of those Crematogaster ants actually defending the trees, up to 5 or 7 times as many trees are pushed over by elephants. And the ants are therefore very, very important for keeping those trees alive, protecting them against things like elephants that will eat them. Oh, our food stores are full. That cannot be. And so the removal of those ants will result in more and more trees being pushed over by the elephants and it becoming a more open ecosystem. And as a result, the animals that are also dependent on the trees start disappearing, or would likely disappear from that environment as well. Now I think here come the fire ants again, so let's just quickly get ready. Luckily we have got a whole bunch of food stored away. And here they come. Invasion begins once more. Occasionally we're just going to pop goes the weasel. Yeah, and they retreat again. And then they come again, and then they will retreat again. Yeah, we are just really forming an impenetrable defense here against the fire ants. Interesting, the actual Tetraponera penzigi ants, what they will do, as I've mentioned, is they block off their tunnels with their abdomens and then they just sting. So they put their pointy end outwards. So in those little thorns, imagine this being the swollen thorn of the acacia. They have their butts pointing there and they just poke outside and sting whatever comes close. And that sting is, the venom they've got is actually quite potent. It's dangerous to Crematogaster ants and also to the invading Phylae megacephala ants. So they can't actually withstand that. Okay, we can quickly come up here again. No, we can't. Never mind. Alright, here they come, and here we blow. I really do find it interesting that if you are a more aggressive species, like the Crematogaster ants, or like we have in this case, the little black ants and the normal black ants, you are fighting, you are trying your best to actually maintain your position in this savanna system, and yet you are doomed. I love Crematogaster ants. We've got some at home as well. We've got Crematogaster perengi, the little black cocktail ants. They are really cool. We've got a whole bunch of them living in an old pallet in our backyard. And whenever you do go and tap on them, yeah, they do respond quite violently. They will come out with their gasters raised, ready to defend their nest. I was about to say we should be careful of the fire ants invading, but everything is attacking them. Oh my word. Let's just go boom. There we go. Problem solved. Many problems can be solved with a nice explosion, you know. Now, of course, these poor little black ants and the black ants down there, they really stood no chance. I mean, they were the hard difficulty. These guys are on impossible. But I mean, they are basically the same level then of difficulty as I would be to face, because I'm not very good at this game at all. And that's kind of why I put them on hard and the fire ants on impossible. We all have to kind of survive this impossible threat. And only the ones that kind of hide away were able to do that, or are able to withstand it. I mean, look at how much these fire ants are spending just to try and get rid of me. And they march on over to my base and they die. Because when we are in our little burrow, we are quite invulnerable. Now, very interesting how that article actually tested the potential impact of things like the invading ants. Part of the study consisted of them actually taking trees that had Crematogaster ant colonies and the Tetraponera penzigi ant colonies, and they transplanted those ants into areas, or right on the front of the invasion by the Phylae megacephala. So there where those ants were busy invading, that's where they put those trees. And obviously those ants then come in, they swarm onto the tree, trying to, get food and trying to kill all the competition, all the competing ant species. Okay, there we go. We've cleared that area as well. They're trying to clear the area themselves, and yeah, in the process they just eradicated those other ants, the Crematogaster ants. There we go. Our workers are now level 3, all of them. So they are actually quite strong now. Look at them running around with their gasters in the air. Oh man, these little guys are actually good analogs for Crematogaster ants. They're not related at all though. Even though Crematogaster ants also run around with their gasters in the air like this, these ones, the exploding ants actually, that we are actually playing as, yeah, they are not related at all. They're in 2 entirely different subfamilies even. The one is in the Formicini and the one is in the Myrmicini subfamily. So very, very much unrelated. Okay, and here comes the marching column. Are you going to invade? Yes, I think you are. Look at those level 3s and some level 2s, but mostly level 3s. And here we are, just kind of meeting them with our resistance. And now they're, of course, gathering their strength and attacking a tiger beetle there. And then, oh no, yeah, maybe, yes, no, maybe, yes, yeah, I think we'll go down. Go down. No, 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 yes. And here they come. Wow. Hello there, guys. You have come to die, have you? Well, just 1 or 2 quick little explosions. And they should be running back again. Yeah, there they go. Like, oh, no, 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 we can't compete with that. And here come the 4 runners again, the scouts and the rest of the party right behind. And every time they are repelled. Now, the mutualistic relationship between ants and trees is not confined to these ants. I mean, they will find that in a whole bunch of different trees. Sometimes the trees have got swollen thorns for the ants to live in. Sometimes they just provide them with a bit of food. Sometimes it's in the form of Beltian bodies, which are little protein-rich packages on the tips of leaves. Other times it is with extra floral nectaries, like we have with the Acacia drepanalobium. But in all cases, both parties benefit. The ants get a place to live, the ants may get some food, and the plant gets protection, mostly against herbivores. But in South America, for example, there are some trees there that will have Beltian bodies, little protein-rich packages on the tips of the leaflets that the ants will be feeding on, and they feed that to their babies. Specifically, that's food for their babies to help them grow nice and quick and strong. And in those cases, what also happens is that, oh, okay, these little stink ants, I thought the stink ants were coming over here, but no, they actually just get distracted by the honeydew over here. But yeah, those, let's just see. No, I think we're fine. I really think we are fine. We are doing so well against these fire ants, I must say. I'm really, really, really impressed with the defensive capabilities of this species. This is my dream ant. Like, really, I love, in any strategy game, I love turtling. And that's exactly what we are doing now. We are turtling. But in some cases, the ants actually provide an extra benefit to the trees. They actually go and kill a whole bunch of trees that are overshadowing their host trees. So the host tree needs to, photosynthesize, and if it's shaded out, it battles to do that. So the ants actually go and they remove the leaves of trees that are growing over their host tree, or they go and kill little seedlings of trees, of plants establishing or trying to establish next to the host tree. And they will also kill any vine trying to creep up against their host tree. So that's quite a nice mutualistic relationship. Now we do have a massive stink ant over here attacking us, but our little workers should be able to kill him eventually. They're nice and strong. We even have some level 3 workers here. There we go, he's dead. And here we go, we've got some nice, very, very nice honeydew also here. Very similar to the extra floral nectaries that the actual ants that we looked at here now will be feeding on. I mean, like those little extra floral nectaries. You know what, I think it's time to just go boom. Get a fresh batch of workers. So the idea with us doing this is actually, it makes sense because we take out a lot of enemies in the process of exploding like this, and at the same time, any of the wounded individuals of Group 2 here are, well, they're removed, and they're replaced by fresh individuals that can now come and fight again. And as you can see here, the fire ants they were just scrambling there to actually get enough food to launch another invasion. Now that they've got the numbers again, now they're going to come for us. Now this really is a stalemate though. There's no chance that we are going to win against the fire ants. There's no chance that we're going to be able to invade them. They just replenish their numbers too quickly. But there also apparently is no real way that they're going to defeat us. So it's like, okay, what do we do in this situation? And that's exactly what they have found with that study that I told you guys about. With the Tetraponera penzigi ants just kind of hanging on. That's exactly what they do. They don't disappear from the area, but they're also not able to really outcompete the invading Phydelei ants because they're not aggressive in nature. They are quite hidey, if I can put it that way, in behavior, in how they go about doing things. They're timid. That's perhaps the best term to use. But I think this is a good simulation of how that interaction went. Now, of course, there are many aspects we did not talk about in this episode today, and maybe we'll revisit that in another time. But I have linked the original article down in the description of this video as well, so you can go and have a good read if you wanted to. Now let's just go boom and scare them away. Oh, lovely. I love that. So feel free to go and have a read there. It's quite nice. I mean, it's a really, really great article. As I said, it's one of the few that have stuck with me in all these years. 11 years later, and I still remember it vividly. Now, I have, of course, reread it again in preparation for today's video. But yeah, it's one of those that I will never forget. I think this is also a good spot to end the episode. So thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in and watching me blow up a bunch of fire ants here. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a very, very nice time, as always, with you guys. And then if you've got any suggestions of perhaps scientific articles that I could replicate in the next episode, please do drop it down in the comments below. Any interesting interactions perhaps you would like to see me try and mimic, please also drop those in the comments below, and I will be happy to try them out. So, as always, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, share, comment, subscribe, you know, all those lovely things that everybody always asks you to do. And of course, thank you very much again. Hope you have a wonderful day further. And until next time, everybody, stay safe. I'll see you all soon. Cheers.